like they targeted Mike McCarthy, who I love to hire.
Sure.
And it was just one of those things where they were kind of waiting to make it all plain. I love also the fact that, you know, the videos and the reports coming out about that Mike McCarthy's been actively working. He hasn't been on a staff. He's just been working to keep up with the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's huge because, you know, some of the, you know, and we'll get into this about the relationship that he had with A-Rod and this, I'm sure. But I'm really proud of the fact that he took that time that he was out to kind of humble himself, retool, and, you know, come back stronger. But, yeah, as far as Jason Garrett, you know, I honestly didn't hate Jason Garrett. I just think that it was time for his voice just got stale.
Boy, Cowboy fans hate Jason Garrett for Mike McCarthy did this interview. I'm not gonna shout it out because they ain't paying me and nothing like that. But what Fuss was saying was if there was any vibes about Mike McCarthy that at the end of his tenure that his offense has grown stale, that it wasn't really keeping up with the time, so to speak. It was very Linehan-ish, if I can put that in Cowboy language or whatnot. So when he sat out for the year, you know, Fuss just saying he wasn't just in, you know, Cabo, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Tossing them back. He was watching Sean McVay. He was watching Shanahan, and he was watching Kellen Moore and the Cowboys or whatever. So what I'm getting at is that, you know, he's gonna walk into this thing more open-minded. And what I would like to know is how many times last year did Kellen Moore walk in doing his thing, but somebody say, hey, let's do this instead? And it kind of stopped Kellen Moore from doing his thing. I think now that Mike has, you know, done his little young offense coordinator research, I think he's more prone to let young Kellen Moore do his thing. Law, what you got to say about that?
Most certainly. I looked at that interview. It was a long 35-minute piece with Peter King.
Don't say who.
My goodness. Hey, but let me say this right quick. It was the driest. I'm talking about the driest, like chicken with no salt on it, and chicken with no season on it. It was just him complimenting the guy and what have you, Mike. And it was one of those things where I had to really pull into what he was saying, Cowboy Nation. My bad, Voch Lombardi. But shout out to him, though, just for a little bit, just a smidget. But I will say this, though. He talked about installation. And he was saying, not saying that the Cowboys don't do this, but he was saying that, hey, what he messed up at was that they did the install of the offense. And I know you know a lot about it, Voch Lombardi. He did a lot of installs, but he was not in those meetings, meaning that he let his offensive coordinator do the situation, or he was in it and then he didn't allow the offensive coordinator to have a lot of input in it. But what I'm trying to say is,
he was getting the back rubs.
Yeah, getting no back rubs, those back rubs. Everybody know how those back rubs go. Shout out to the back rubbers out there. But I will say this, though. He said that he learned from that. And when a man says he learned from it and he understood that it's all about preparation, I'm thinking that Mike, he will bring in a little bit more of a preparation game. I think that he will bring in a lot more to do with, hey, I'm going to be a part of the situation instead of sitting back and allowing my contemporaries to work. So that's how I'm looking at it. I think that Mike is a guy that's going to be able to solidify Dak Prescott a little bit better.
Koye, how much better have we gotten? Like, you know, from Garrett to McCarthy. What's the leaps here? Like what's the amount that we've gotten better? You know, because I'm of the notion that I don't think we've gotten astronomically better. I think that if you change a few things, it'll make a big difference in the team. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think we have improved, but just a few little changes. Because we wasn't that far away from being a damn Super Bowl last year. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if you change a few things, so how much better have we?
Hold on before Koye go into that.
What's good, brother?
Here's what I got to say. Mike McCarthy, he won the Super Bowl. Well, he didn't win it, but, you know, their team won it when they was 10-6. Don't forget, Cowboy Nation. Just last year, we was 10-6. It wasn't when he went 15-1. It wasn't when he went 13-3. It was 10-6. So what I'm trying to say here is with Mike McCarthy, although he was a tight ends guy in college, I'm thinking that he would bring in that mindset and saying, okay, let's help Dak out with 2 twin tight end sets, or let's work out with Kellen Moore, because Kellen Moore, although we can look at it and say, yes, he's a I guess an apple that fall from Linehan's tree and Jason Garrett, but one can say this right now with Kellen Moore. Number 1 total offense. I just think that Kellen Moore didn't have experience to squeeze out touchdowns as it relates to money zone, green zone, red zone. So I'm thinking that Mike, the reason why he's going to keep Kellen Moore is so that he can help out in those categories. So that would make us going to be a lot bit better.
I think he'll save Kellen Moore from himself. He's going to do a lot of saving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Koye. Didn't mean to take your time.
No. All good, man. How I feel about it is this, Voch. I'll take you to a game, right? We were watching the Bills this weekend versus the Texans, right?
Sure.
Right. Now, you remember where there was a catch Cole Beasley made, and they didn't know if they got the first down, right?
Yes.
They knew they would have to come out with a field goal team, and they couldn't spike the ball. If that were the case, if it were, a first down, you could spike. If not, you had to kick. So what did he do? He had his field goal team on the field sitting there, Sean McDermott, right? And then he spiked the ball with his punter, that's the catcher for the field goal kicker, right? He spiked the ball with him. He already had that team already ready to go, right? That, I said, those are moments in the game where good coaching shows up, like those little moments like that, right? And I was saying to my brother, I was like, yo, that's good coaching. See what I'm saying? That's what it looks like. Yeah. And you can't tell me, and I know, we've been on the tail end of some of those games. So you can't tell me that Mike McCarthy doesn't have it factor when it comes to situational football over Jason Garrett by a long shot, because he's beaten Jason Garrett in most of those occasions. Right. So it's like, for me, that's how I feel. I feel like we have, so Mike McCarthy could have coached us to a victory against the Jets, against the Bills, against the Patriots. I really do believe that, because those games were like, right down to even Minnesota, down to the wire. Like, we could have won those games. And there's just different decisions that went into that, along with the fact that we had a screwed up kicker the entire year. But that just goes into what Jerry Jones is. He's a guy that seems like he doesn't like to pull the trigger anymore, man. On a lot of things, he don't want to know. He don't want to decide who his defensive coordinator is. Who was our defensive coordinator? And now we know. But before, it was like, is it Chris Richard? Is it Rob Marinelli? You know what I'm saying? Everybody. I was just telling Voch, like, everybody on this team from top down, because Jerry Jones was all over the place. Everybody on this team was all over the place. What is Jalen Smith? Is he a pass rushing linebacker? Is he a prototypical linebacker that's a run stuffer, sideline to sideline guy? Is he a coverage guy? Is he a cover 2 guy? What is he? He can do it all, but we don't ask him to do anything enough to really get an identity out of anybody on this team. Nobody. And that's from top down.
Boy, you finna speak my language when we get over to defense, especially mentioning Jalen Smith and what we want to see from him. But one thing that I can say, that with Mike McCarthy, he's 7-3 against the Dallas Cowboys. He never lost a game against the Dallas Cowboys in Texas Stadium or Arlington Stadium, however you want to call it. On top of that, he's 5-2 against the Philadelphia Filthy Eagles, right? And then on top of that, I think that he got a winning percentage record over the Giants. The only team that he's having issues with, and of course these are not the same teams, is the Washington Redskins. But what I want to say here, Cowboy Nation, is that now we got a guy that we can look back and have historical data and see that this guy came from the lineage of Marty Schottenheimer. Also came from the trees of learning and earning his ropes when he played, coached with the 49ers. Also, he got promoted from when he helped Brett Favre in 1998 and 1999, having his best careers during that time frame, to ultimately get promoted to being like the offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. Yeah. So we can go back, and I think Aaron Brooks one year had a fantastic year with Mike McCarthy. So, man, I just can't wait. And I'm just trying to bring those things up before we get to the Aaron Rodgers piece.
My only reservation with that, though, is when I was looking for for whoever was going to be possible coach, in my mind, I wanted somebody that could take regular ass players and make them play good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like sure, he's had the Aaron Rodgers thing. That's the conversation, right?
Right.
we talking about playoffs, right? Mike Vrabel is in the damn playoffs with Tannehill. You know what I mean? Like Sean McDermott went with Josh Allen. If I like we could talk about Sean Payton and Mike McCarthy and those guys or whatever. Pete Carroll with Russell Wilson. I'm like, give me like John Harbaugh that took Flacco to that thing.
Flacco.
You know what I mean? and then like later down the line, he's about to take Lamar Jackson to make another run at it. That's kind of what I was looking for, because at the end of the day, we ain't got Aaron Rodgers. We got Dak Prescott, and
those guys got jobs though.
There,
right? Hold on,
because they do their job.
Hold on, I want to
go ahead.
Back on that, Vacho.
Go ahead.
That I don't understand. Why doesn't Mike McCarthy get any credit for Aaron Rodgers' development? Just seriously,
you should.
He shouldn't.
He should, but he don't.
All right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've seen. I've heard a lot of stuff today, bro. That's just been. I don't like a lot of it because Mike McCarthy was part of the reason why they moved on from Brett Favre.
Preach.
And he was part of the reason that people don't remember Aaron Rodgers' throwing motion was awful when he came out of Cal.
Preach.
It was awful. So all these people who he's safe, he can't listen. I literally yelled when we hired Mike McCarthy because listen, you can say what you want about me. Sometimes I get high, low on Dak, whatever. This is the best coach for Dak Prescott. Period. I do not want a college coach with Dak Prescott. Absolutely not. Yeah. I do not want a defensive guy with Dak Prescott. I want a coach who, like Law said it, you need a coach who can tell him the intricacies of the game, who can literally design a playbook. Him and Kellen can now go in and design stuff for this guy. You see what I'm saying? He's worked with so many different quarterbacks. He's seen them all. He's worked with them all, and he'll know exactly what works with Dak. And then I'm not even saying that Aaron Rodgers isn't coachable, Voch, but I think that Dak is more coachable. I think that Dak is humble enough to say, I don't know it all. I haven't been to the promised land. And Dak will look at it as like, dog, Dak's time will probably run out before McCarthy's time will run out. You see what I'm saying?
That's deep.
Say it one more time. Say it again.
Dak's time will run out before McCarthy's time will run out.
Yeah, it's not like they're gonna fire McCarthy on account of Dak.
Right. Like,
I get what you mean.
Remember what I said, AKOYE, I said, listen, the NFL is the blame passing game. So Dez gone. Linehan gone. Now Garrett's gone. So now blame's going to start getting shifted to these players. I don't think that McCarthy has ever had this talent, Voch. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, he's never had it. I keep hearing also that he's not going to run the ball. People are dumb. Oh,
right.
He didn't have a running back.
Right. He had Eddie Lacy, who was one cheeseburger away from being a guard. Are you serious?
Be nice.
My bad,
one cheeseburger.
You speaking the truth.
In all seriousness, Voch.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you and AKOYE, y'all hit that good film, man. I love the way that McCarthy designed trap plays. He does different things, and even in his run design, he just never had the runner that he never. And I don't like that comment. I just saw somebody that said he had Aaron Jones and they decided to use him. That's false. To me, what it was a lot like what Jermichael Finley said about Aaron Rodgers. I believe wholeheartedly Aaron Rodgers checked out of a lot of stuff. I really do.
Sure.
I think that he checked out of a lot of runs because when you're a quarterback that good and you have that much arm talent, you say, I can make every throw, which he can. And I just think he checked out of a lot of runs.
Yeah, and just to case in point that right quick, this game when we played against the Green Bay Packers this year, although it was a different coaching situation, Aaron Rodgers didn't beat us. No, he didn't beat us. It was Aaron Jones.
It was Aaron
Jones. But go ahead.
No, I mean, I just to me, Voch, you seem like you kind of lukewarm on this hiring, man. Let me put you on the stand real quick. What don't you like about it? Because I mean, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I'm jumping for joy. A college guy, I don't like it.
Agreed.
I did not want Lincoln Riley, bro. I see a soft team with Lincoln Riley. I'm not gonna hold you. I did not want to see us in 5 wide, Dak throwing the ball 40 times. Sure. I did not want that. That's me personally.
Just me personally, like it's just weird when I hear, hey, I'm Mike McCarthy, right? And I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna try all this new shit that I learned, all right?
Right.
I'm trying all, but look, we trying to win like today. We trying to win today. You know what I mean? And he didn't go get a hot shot DC like one of these new hot DCs or whatever. He got a cat that the last time he DC'd was when I was 19 and shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And look, and honestly, Foots, I don't know. I'm real show me right now. You know what I mean? Now, if he comes in and it works and he let Kellen rock and we go right back to being the number one offense and the defense get better and field position get better and he hires somebody on special teams to do something. If he does that, cool. I just got a lot of questions, Foots. And when I got questions, I just raise my eyebrow.
Respect.
Man, I raise my eyebrow and go,
Can I continue to persuade you? Can we? Because I got more, bro.
I mean, you can do it for the show, but I'm hard headed. I'm stubborn. Right. But for the people listening, go ahead, sir.
Right.
Go ahead. You got some AKOYE?
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like Nolan, you know, you remember Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, those dudes, like they came from that cloth. Like Nolan is going to take the linebacker if there's anything that we have on this team is linebacker talent, you know, that's just sitting and rotting away on the bench from Malcolm Smith to Joe Thomas to Jalen to, you know, I don't know if Sean Lee stays or not, but if he stays, whatever. But then you have LVE and March Lillard, whatever his name is now, because he keeps changing it. Our kid that couldn't get on the field this year, Gifford, and then we got Covington. We got linebackers for days, and then you have guys that are tweeners like, you know, Robert Quinn, who's played outside linebacker for Wade Phillips before, so he knows how to do it. And then you have a guy that to me is like a JJ Watt in DeMarcus Lawrence, where he can play stand up outside linebacker or he can play left in a 3-4 scheme, in my opinion. And I think he could do that effectively. Like that would showcase his talents. You can move him around a lot. So for me, I think that's like that was the coach that I wanted. I wanted a 3-4 coach for that reason. And he's also been a head coach in this league. So I think it's always good when you can get a guy who knows how to run an entire organization focused in on one side of the ball only.
Yes, see, indeed. I don't think it's gonna be a 3-4. I just think it's gonna be a funny looking 4-3 because what I saw from it, like
hybrid,
like a hybrid look. And what made me say that is every time it would look like a 3-4, there's a 1 tech and there's a 3 tech. Now, if you got a nose and you got 2 20 backers and you got 2 like 5 techs, whatever, that's more of a 3-4 look where from the tackle to the center, there's a lot more space. But it wasn't that. It's somebody sitting in A gap and it's always somebody sitting in B gap. And on the A gap side, there's always the rush guy, you know what I'm saying, that doesn't have his hand in the dirt. And Nick Saban did that a lot, you know, because he always had pass rushes, like way more pass rushes than he had room to play him, because all his best, like he got all the best players on his team or whatever.
Right.
So he had to find ways to play everybody or whatever. So he'll run 5 pass rushes just like that. JJ Watt was also like that. Him and Clowney. They run they kind of, you know, JJ Watt's not traditional, you know what I mean, 4-3 end, and Clowney was a stand-up guy, so they had to find ways to work both of them. So I mean, so now so where are we at with this whole thing? And I said this on my video, y'all go watch that, is we got a guy like Jalen Smith, right? I wouldn't mind Jalen Smith being a defensive end rushy type player. Or if you want to put a defensive end there, I don't mind Jalen Smith being the other Sam linebacker dude that's on the line of scrimmage as well. Like, it just kind of opens up the kind of things that we can do. And another one more notion I'm gonna let y'all go is I think it opens up the kind of people that we could draft. Once upon a time, TJ Watt was on the board, but we didn't draft him because we didn't stand guys up. If Mike Nolan is doing now what he did in 2012, we got room to stand guys up. So we may need some guy like that.
Yes, indeed.
They move guys around.
That's good stuff. And this year, believe it or not, even if people look at DeMarcus Lawrence production, last year, I guess you can say it, since this is a new year, he was being flipped to both sides of the field because Kerry Hyder was able to play on that opposite side, you see. And also when they put in Bennett. So I'm thinking that as much as we probably say that D-Law is not a 3-4 guy, he may can just fit into this system. And also, I see a lot of people saying that Mike Nolan also coached up Ray Lewis, especially in his prime too. So I think that
that's a good nugget.
Yeah, that is a great 2000. Go ahead.
Because Ray Lewis came out the womb ready to hit people.
Yeah, he did.
So did Jalen,
but he may look at it like this, Voch. He may look at it and say, "Man, I'm looking at this tape of Ray Lewis. I'm looking at what the Cowboys was asking you to do last year. No, we're going to flip all of that around. You see, we're going to make sure that you're making more plays out there." And shout out to Jalen Smith, man, for doing what he did. Jalen Smith. I said shout out to Jalen Smith for doing what he was doing last year, although I wasn't really high on him, basically. Right. I was giving him, like, burning down the house. I was mad at him. Voch.
Understood.
I think so. Going back to selling Vacho and the rest.
Real fast. Hey, y'all, real fast. We got 788 people watching live right now. .com could never do that. Go ahead.
Hey, they've been selling a lot of propaganda. I mean, to me, listen, just the fact that, dog, I'm gonna be honest, Lincoln Riley shouldn't even been in consideration, but that's a whole nother. Some of these guys, man,
Go ahead. Okay, how about this? Let me set this up then. Since you did that, are you happy? Like, what's your vibes in terms of, okay, we got Mike McCarthy, but we didn't get these college guys. Are you happy that we didn't, or are you mad that we didn't get an Urban Meyer or like one of these Lincoln Riley guys? Go ahead.
Urban was the only one that I would consider, and that's because he has so many of his players have transitioned to the league and played well. Lincoln Riley, not even close, bro. I'm cool. I'm cool on the offense. I'm cool on his guys that come to the league and even make plays, or like even looking at Baker Mayfield, it's been a disaster in Cleveland for him. And that's not to say it's a lot with that situation, but I just think that he needs more time to become a coach and really know how to. The only other name in college that I was thinking about was Chris Peterson, just because, he seems like he's more of a have guys prepared. But I just, every time I see Oklahoma on a big stage, I'm not talking in the Big 12 where they play no defense whatsoever. I'm talking about against real NFL talent, SEC talent. Sure. I always see Oklahoma get bullied. Like, for the last 10 years, I just never see them really. And recently, it was bad. It was hard to watch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, as far as, but I got to do this real quick too, Voch.
Go ahead.
I think, dog, Mike McCarthy has never had this offensive line, bruh. He about to dial up some stuff with Dak, man. I'm telling you. Like, I think that he's gonna use a lot more pre-snap motion,
right?
Which is what I think that helps Dak out a lot. Okay, I know exactly now. Okay, I know they're in man. Okay, cool. I know, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Little things like that. I just think that he's gonna build in foolproof stuff for Dak. And I don't think that, and let me say this too. I want to answer your question right here. I don't think that he's gonna try all this new stuff. Like, I know there's been articles about how he's gotten in touch with the analytics side of things, and that did scare me a little bit. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't like that because I'm like, hold up. But I think he just is just looking at it more or less. What do y'all think? I think he's just taking a look at it and it's not like looking at it to just be aware of it.
I think
because Jason Garrett didn't want to use any analytics.
I think somebody tapped him on the shoulder and said, if you're gonna be a coach in this league, you're gonna go to these interviews and they're gonna ask you about analytics. You can't say no.
Right.
I think that's a real thing. You know what I mean? I think everybody's doing it now. Now, I'm not that guy. I hate PFF. I hate numbers. I hate advancement. Well, you know that if you run this personnel at this point in the field and you go for two right here, I'm like, why don't you go for two right there? Analytics say so. I don't like that.
I agree.
I'm just way too football guy for that. But you know, it's not the analytics that I'm more so worried about. It's just football that makes sense. You know what I mean? And if it makes more sense to, okay, if all the winning teams ain't running on first down, or they're opting more to throw the ball to the running back on a first down, then Mike, let's do some of that. Also too, something else I thought about too, fellas. Let me just kind of, run this past you. Gary Brown may not be rehired. Interesting, because I like who would think that Zeke needs a new coach? Like Zeke is Zeke. Why would he need a new coach? You know what I mean? Like, how much more are you going to teach Zeke right now? I think Mike McCarthy been watching us, and if he's going to get a new coach, I think he's going to find somebody to make Zeke more of a pass catcher. That's just on my brain. I could be wrong. I could be bugging, but what y'all think about that?
Well, my thing is with Gary. Gary Brown, what's his name? Gary Brown.
Gary Brown, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's emotional. It's emotions. You never want to see your coach gone, right? And we can look at Ezekiel Elliott, and for the last 3.5 or 4 years, you can say, yeah, he excelled. But that's what he was going to do, regardless of whether or not I was the coaching him out there. You see what I'm saying? He would have did that same thing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. What more can you teach Ezekiel Elliott right now? And if he's lacking anywhere, it'll be him in the passing game.
Right. So we would love to keep him from an emotional aspect of it, but kumbaya.
Bro, hey, Law. Mm-hmm. See you later.
See you later.
I'm all for clean the house, man.
Hey, let me ask you this, AKOYE. Take over, Vacho. Who do y'all want to stay? Because I'll be honest, bro, I wanted everybody gone. I like AKOYE hit something that's big to me, culture. I don't want nobody here, bro. Culture. Right. I want a fresh start. And you don't, like, when you leave a girl, you don't leave old pictures in the house with your new girl. Like, bruh.
But they in the phone though, huh, Foot?
They stay in the phone, especially if her mama can still make some mean potato salad or something like that. You gonna say, hey, what's up, baby?
Hey, all right, hey, you definitely keep it in the phone, bro. But not out in the listen.
Let me answer that though, Foot. Let me answer that for you. I think a handful of guys have made strides on this team. So let me just coaching wise, and I did this on the video. Check that out too. Last year we had 58 sacks.
Average special
this year we had 23.
That's
fantastic. That's much better. It puts us way at the bottom of the league on that. Colombo, it seems to click with him. I don't want to change none on my offensive line.
I just told him that the O-line, they said the O-line in the chat box isn't good. I said I love the O-line.
Stop listening.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry, Vacho. Your chat box be live though, bro.
I know, but it's like 700 people here, so I don't know who civilians. I don't know who. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people in here. Colombo, Kellen Moore, I wanted him to stay. And I know somebody else I wanted to stay. Nussmeier. I like Nussmeier.
Okay.
And John Kidner. And I like John Kidner because he just working with Dak. He ain't got this big overarching job in the thing. John Kidner can kind of come and go as Mike McCarthy would allow him to come, right? But everybody else, Sanjay Lal and them, look. Ever since he told him to start carrying bricks, that's when we had on the drops and shit. Get Sanjay out of here. Sanjay can go, and the whole defense they can go. That's just my.
You out, bro. Listen, clean up, man. Listen, I feel so that was my whole thing.
Sure.
I just even so with Kellen Moore. How do you guys feel on Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy?
Go ahead, Koye.
I feel like it's a good unison if they stay together. I don't know if Mike McCarthy going to use him or not, but if he actually keeps Kellen, it's good for Kellen because I think Kellen kind of is subdued by Dak because I don't really think Dak has that authority figure. He don't look at him like that, right? And I think that's why John Kitna came in kind of helped. But even when you're calling plays, you need somebody that's kind of over you who understands how to also not only tutor a offensive coordinator because he's an offensive mind, but also bring up a young and up and coming developing quarterback. So I think that together he can help Kellen a lot in some of his game and some of his situational football calls. Like he probably let him design a game plan and then kind of maybe take over in certain situations depending on the situations, or maybe even just suggest certain things. So I wanted somebody that came in with that authority because I already feel like Dak doesn't. It's not like it's a disrespectful relationship with him and Kellen, but I just don't see Kellen as an authority figure over anybody when it comes to like, hey, do what I say on the field type thing. Like Dak got the Peyton Manning type keys to the castle, I think, this year, because who's going to tell him otherwise, right? Kellen's not going to tell him, and Jason, I don't know what he can tell anybody at that point. Didn't seem like he had much, much power, in my opinion. But no, that's how I feel about it. I think that's a good unison. I like Kellen Moore. You can't say anything about him that isn't good, other than those speed options retarded. Excuse my French, but something's wrong with him for doing those. But anyway, outside of that,
oh my God!
Hey, before
he ran that, he was
man.
outflanked. He was outflanked and ran into that. I couldn't believe he called that.
If we block properly, the speed option would work.
Why would he? Let me ask you this though. He was unbalanced the other side, Voch. Why did he run it backside?
I would have to watch the film to answer your question.
You know which one I'm talking about?
I don't want to say anything. I would have to watch.
It was the Philly game, bro. It was down the red area. He ran that speed option that AKOYE is talking about.
You do it they do it once per game, and it never worked once ever.
Let me interject.
You gotta work it till you figure it out. So
let me interject right quick though. The reason why was because he had no experience. Remember we were talking about that, and I believe that Kellen Moore is everything Lincoln Riley would be. You see, on the NFL level. And I know I might get a lot of hate mail from OU people, but this is the thing. This is the reality. Kellen Moore is brilliant. He got a brain.
But he don't learn fast, though. He don't learn fast.
He don't learn fast. But I'm
thinking because he made the same mistake all season. Like you could have figured it out. Like next week we're not gonna do that, okay?
But
like no, he do it every week, the same thing. He had to learn from.
He had to learn from. He got to pull from somewhere, right? And he just didn't have it. It's called experience. I'm thinking that this year, and you couple that with probably another year, he will probably be on his way. But right now, it's best for Kellen Moore to just look at it and say, Mike, teach me. You work with Joe Montana. You work with Brett Favre. You work with Aaron Rodgers. Teach me the game. Teach me the game, Ghost. Remember that?
So let me
go ahead.
I want to piggyback on both of you guys. So I grew up on Mike McCarthy calling plays.
True.
So I wanna see how that's gonna work. All right. Now, that being said, I just saw something and Voch told me not to look in the comment box, but I don't like this because it's something that I've heard all day. Obviously, national media doesn't know a lot, so it's bad, but it's on at work and you just hear stuff. They all make money off the Cowboys, which is sad.
Oh my goodness, yes.
It's a whole playoff just happened and they talking about Dallas. But anyway,
Law just said that pre-stream.
It's terrible, Law. I mean, it's ridiculous. You got Cowherd, this dude is a joke. But anyway, so the whole yes man, I think people don't understand. Jerry still is your boss. True. So he's his boss. But what people gotta understand, if you've ever played the game, there are certain coaches who get more out of you. And there are certain coaches you just look at him like, bro, I just don't respect you. And that's what AKOYE is speaking to, like, bro, he's a backup. Like,
no, God.
Kellen was a backup. So I feel what he's saying. Like, there's no way Dak ever looked at AKOYE. Looked at Kellen and said, I fear you, or like that authoritarian. Like, he never looked at him and said, man, I don't really understand what he's talking about. Like, Kellen Moore is a backup. Jason Garrett is a backup.
Like, does okay? Because look, okay, watch.
These are backups trying to teach a starter.
Watch this though. First, when I was coaching, right? I first coached at 18 years old. When I played my last game as a senior, I came right back in the spring. Right now, I was an 18-year-old coach. But what got me respect is that I knew more than everybody. You know what I mean? There were some guys that played better than me, but my knowledge elevated me over them. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the thing with Kellen. I mean, sure, Dak beat Kellen in the job or whatever, but that's just because genetics. You know what I'm saying? Kellen just can't throw better than Dak.
But hold on. All right, let me rebut that.
Sure, go ahead.
In the game of football, it is about how much you know, but it's also knowing how to dial back. I'm pretty sure, what's his name? I'm pretty sure Kellen has every playbook, every all that stuff that he worked at Boise State. But like I called for, Voch, how many times did I call for, bruh? Just getting I formation and run straight. Like,
but we talking about coaching though, Fuzz. Like if you go, like
facts. But if you
go to a coaching clinic, what Fuzz? Watch this. Go like if you go to a coaching clinic, you gonna outrun every coach in there, Fuzz. You athletically better than them. But when they get on the board and they start talking about something you don't know yet, you gonna shut up and listen.
No fact. All right. So look, up 110%.
Right.
I honestly, and I also don't think that Kellen Moore knows more than Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy's he's extremely smart.
I'm talking about Kellen and Dak.
Kellen and Dak. Okay, Kellen and Dak.
Right.
Here's my thing though. When it comes to coaching, and let's talk about play design for a second.
Okay.
Sometimes I think that Kellen will overthink things. You see what I'm saying? Like running a speed option where you don't have to. You see what I'm saying?
True.
Some things you really don't have to overthink it. You have you have a all pro offensive guard literally run right behind them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Certain things like that I thought that it was time. Now, Kellen Moore,
I think that come down to
realize that you have to coach your coaches. Sometimes you have to coach your coaches.
Sorry to cut you off though, Fuzz. What I think that comes down to is if it works, you a genius. If it don't, you an idiot. The Philly special is a great call because it worked. Because Nick Foles caught the ball.
And
if
because
he
they
dropped
didn't do it all year.
But if he dropped it, you're being cute. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's with anything in football. So if we run Zeke dead up A gap or whatever, what's this non-creative shit we doing? We ain't mixing it up no more.
Yeah.
But if we do something creative and it works, we go, that's a great play. If it doesn't, we being cute. I just think it just matters if it works or not.
But Voch, check it, right? If you do it once and it works or doesn't work, whatever, right? You afforded the right to be cute from now and again. But when you repeat the cute behavior in the same exact down and distances in the same,
I'm not talking about just one play though. I'm not talking about one play.
They repeat the cuteness like that speed option in the reverses. They do it. You can anticipate when they do it. So it's not like if you saw that it didn't work all year, why would that be the tool that you keep pulling out of the shed in crucial moments in the game? Like, you have to learn that. Because we're gonna trick you this time. Like
I feel you. I feel you, but I just think it matters if it works.
But it never does.
And
you know what? Let's figure out why the shit don't work.
Hey, look, hey, Voch. I feel like we saying the same thing. Only reason why I'm agreeing with AKOYE is just because, like, dog, Jason. If I was Jason, I would have said, bruh. Being honest, I wouldn't allow Kellen to call plays. If I'm coaching for my job, I'm calling plays this year. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let a first year play caller basically control my future. But that's neither here nor there. Now with McCarthy has to coach Kellen Moore. So everybody who's like, well, Jason would go in there and change stuff. Damn right he would. I feel like,
well, let me ask all three of y'all this question, Darren. Einstein is a genius, right?
Right.
Sometimes, right. He couldn't find his way to get home. 2017, what's that guy that coach over there for the LA Rams, McVay? He was a genius in 2017, right? But last year, this season, how do you want to look at it? He's not a genius no more, right?
I agree.
So somewhere, Kellen Moore first 3 games, he was a genius. You see, somewhere he was a genius. And then the NFL started looking at these tapes, and then also like what my brother from another mother, AKOYE, is saying right now. Yes, he's a genius. Yes, he knows what he's talking about. But until Kellen Moore started doing those exact same reverse sweeps and the jet sweeps in the money zone, green zone, red zone, AKOYE said, after looking at the film in all 22, he said, I'm trying to keep it PG-13. He said, oh, man, this guy ain't a genius no more. Yeah, he's running out of plays. Teams done picked up on the situation. But what I'm looking at is Mike McCarthy is going to be able to look at it and say, hey, nah, you don't do it in this. Watch what we do in this particular situation, young buck. Because I believe in the hearts of hearts, Jerry Wayne Jones was looking at it like, hey, we want this to happen. We want that to happen. And Jason Garrett, as much as we love Jason Garrett the person, but Jason Garrett the coach, never interject. He never stood up and said, hey, Give me that playbook. You don't know what you're doing right now. You're in the money zone. Because he said it when he was on the interview. I did not want to interject.
What?
Right. And like to me, like, bruh, at the end of the day, I don't care what fans think. I'm interjecting in my job on the line, bro. I'm not just gonna sit back